Yes. Yes, Pencil.
We have one error for writing
Correct, correct.
data.
File, right?
That, yeah, yes, yes, that's why.
Okay. So I
Access
have
control
done that.
method.
Okay. What we have to do is, it looks like, so this path is not correct, which I have configured last time. So this path, like wherever the file exists, that path should exist in the WM public access. So there will be one file called the file access control in the WM public folder of your integration server. So if I go here, software AG integration server, integration server instances, and then default, default packages, and then WM public. And then config. So this is the file where you have to specify from which directory you want to access the file. So this one I have edited, and like I want to place my file into this particular location. So I gave this and say I have created, I will add one more computer, C drive, cloud integration, inside cloud integration test folder. So for example, say I have created the test.txt file. Let me edit this. Okay, this is the content, and then I added. So this is also a built-in service to access your file. There is a service in the WM public file. We have a get file service. So this is the one which we accessed last time. Okay, so I gave my file location and I want to load. So in order to load, you have these options. You can load it as a byte. You can load it in form of streams, string, and reader. So if you want to see the data, and you can load it as a string. So created blanket for file accessing testing. So if you change also, the same message will be coming here. Okay, I saved it. I rerun my service. See. So by using this get file service, you can access the existing file. If you want to access any existing file, that file directory has to be put it into this file access control of the WM public package. Okay. So we will see the remaining built-in services. Not on the public folder, will come from start. So all the web methods packages will start with the WM. Whatever you see the WM extension, the precedence, those are the web service related packages. So the first one, WMART. So do you remember like where did we use this WMART package? Any idea? Where did we use? Yes.
It is in exception handling case.
Exception handling. No. Anyone else? Okay. Let me. If I show that, then you can be able to tell me. Now tell me.
JDBC connection.
Correct. So you see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 services, right, inside transactions. So what is the first service we do? What is the purpose of the first service? Commit transaction.
To commit the changes want to use.
Correct.
To make
And then rollback transaction. If you want to roll back any transaction, I mean like so that by that time, what if you want to roll back any changes that you apply to database, you use the rollback transactions. Where did you use this rollback? For example, so I will show. I want to show you one example. Okay. So I told you there will be a wrapper. In implementing that, you will see main, try, catch, right? So whenever you do, first you will start the transaction and you will do your operations, and then you will commit the transaction, and then if there is any issue, then you will roll back the transaction. So rollback transaction, you will use it in the catch block. Is this clear? Did you remember this scenario which I explained? This is the example which I gave to you last time. Remember? Okay. So whenever you want to roll back anything, I mean like if you want to maintain a transaction set. So first you will start the transaction, you will commit the transaction. So if you start, then only you will be able to commit and roll back. If there is a no start, then you won't be able to commit and you won't be able to roll back any transaction. So start transaction and you will give the name of the transaction. By using that name, you will roll back and you will commit the transaction. Clear? Okay. So this is the transaction. So there is a connection. So what we used to do regularly, like, so you will create a JDBC connection, right? One sec. Close this. So what we do for the adapters, you come here, JDBC, and then you will see different connections. For example, if I want to enable and disable, what I have to do? I have to come to my administrator page, and then I have to enable and disable it. So what if I want to? If I don't have the admin privilege, okay, only administrator can see this. Okay, developer won't be able to see that. But if I want to enable and disable any connection types, I can do it from the designer also. So developer which like who don't have the permission to connect to. Okay, one second. So if you are a developer and you don't have the admin privilege, then you can enable the disable the connection from here. For example, let's see. So this is the connection name. JDBC for new batch, which is an enabled state. I want to disable it. I will run the service. I will give the connection alias. Say OK. Now just come here and then see the connections. See, it's disabled. And I want to enable it back. I'll go to my designer, enable connection. Input I have to pass at the connection alias. I'll give my connection alias. Okay. See, it's in the disabled state. I don't do anything. I'll just refresh the page. It will be enabled back. Okay. The same way, get connection statistics. So this connection statistics is nothing but like how many. I'll show you that. Okay. So you'll get the output saying what are the total connections, how many are busy now, how many free connections you have, and how many total hits and total misses for this particular connection. Okay, so total connections are 1, busy connections 0, free connections 1, total hits 0, total misses 0. So can anyone tell me why this total connection is showing as 1 even though you are not doing any operation? Can anyone? So it's because you have enabled the pool and you're saying minimum pool size is 1. So there will be always a connection established. For example, so I will edit this. Let me disable it and edit. So let this make it as a false. Save changes, save, and then enable back. Now I will run the same service. See, everything is 0 because I don't have any polling to the database. If you enable the polling and you mention like what are the minimum connections, then that connection will be always established to the database. So this concept we already discussed on the JDBC adapter like when we're connecting these properties. And today I have sent one email also which having all the adapter notification, and so like what is the meaning for each and every field. Okay, give me a second. Okay, hope you understand this connection. And list adapter connections. If you want to list down all the adapter services available, this one, the JDBC type name. Okay, so that name I forget actually. Most of the times, like, so none of them we will be using. Okay, so most of the times, like what required is these three. And if you are working with the notifications, then enabling, disabling. Okay, so we have to see the notification, adapter notifications. We will see that later. Okay, so the important is what is the commit transaction, rollback transaction, and set transaction timeout. So for this transaction timeout, so if you want to put any time period, for example, in the previous example, we have given the like start transaction and commit transaction, right? And if you want to maintain any timeout for that, for example, like your query is taking more time and you don't want to run your query more than a minute, then you can set that up. Okay, start transaction, commit transaction, rollback transaction. These three are the important services from the WMERT package. You have to remember these three. Okay, and next one we'll see the deployer later in the admin page. WMEDA for TN and WMEDA int also when we're discussing the EDA concepts. And flat file we already seen. Okay, so convert to string and convert to values. So what is the purpose of convert to string? Anyone? Convert to string and convert to values. And I forgot to tell you about the specification. We will discuss this. Just note down. We have to discuss about the specification. Okay, I want to know about the convert to string now. What is the purpose of convert to string? Sorry. Anyone?
Converting document type to Blackwell string.
Correct.
Converting
So,
document type
Blackwell
to
string you want to
Blackwell
convert,
string.
then you use the convert to string. And convert to values from string to document. You have the flat file string and you want to convert as a document of the integration server, then you use the convert to values. Then JDBC adapter. Don't think so. We have required. Next one is WM public. Okay, assets you don't require. So this cache concepts also. Okay. If you want to, so this cache will be used to cache like your results. For example, if you are running a service, what you do, like you will use the input, you will pass the input, and you will get the output. So every time what it does is like every time it will run the service and it will get you the output. So for example, say I'm running a service with inputs 1 and 2 and I'm getting sum as 3. Another customer also is running the same service with 1 and 2 and he will also get the same output. So in this case, it will run only the first time. Second time, whenever the inputs are same, then it will get the output from the cache and it will give it to the customer, which will be faster than the executing every time. Okay, so that's the purpose of the cache. And if you want to clear cache and you don't want to disable cache, or if you want to enable cache, you will use all these concepts. Okay, and so if you want to check whether there is any caching manager exists, cache name, so you will get all this. So this very advanced concepts which you don't require in the starting. Okay, so this like most of the times this will be using when you're working with the two servers which are in the cluster. So that time it will be useful. Maybe you can ignore this. Client is important. So most of the times, like if you are working with the flat files or like you want to access any a file within your integration server or like in our local office, then it will be in the form of FTP connection. So if you want to do any FTP related functions, then you can see here. If you want to log into your FTP server, then you have the login service which takes the server host, server port and username password for your FTP server, and then you will log into your FTP server and then you can perform the remaining operation. For example, you should be knowing what it each means. So for example, get means you will be get the directory. Sorry, you'll get the file. Mget means multiple files getting, multiple files delete. Ls means list files. Okay, so dir means like you want to check whether it's a directory or not, then you will check this. If you want to delete anything, you can do that. Change directory. So if you want to append any data to the existing file, then you will use the more function to give this. Okay, I think only these are available. Okay, only these are available. So login, logout, and then remaining you want to access the directory or like files within the FTP directory. Any doubts in the FTP? Can I proceed with LDAP? For example, LDAP is also like one type of directory where like most of the companies will be using for the employee lookup. So we'll be having like internal username and password for the each employee, right? So all those will be stored inside the LDAP server. So if you want to check any LDAP related functionalities, you can check it up here. Next is SFTP, similar to FTP, but this is in the secured way. Okay, you will do login and then you will check the remaining functions. 1 second, guys. Hello. Really sorry. Thank you. Are you able to hear me now? Hello, Pencil Reddy. Are you able to see me? Sorry, hear me.
Venkat, now it's audible, Venkat. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So you be on the line. Like I want to ask you like all these questions. So someone of you has to respond to me. Otherwise, like I don't know, like you are listening or not. So for my reference. So can you guys tell me like where did we see this HTTP service? Did we see anywhere?
Web services and REST services.
Correct. So at the time of RESTful
Web
services, we have
services
used
and
not web services, only RESTful services. So if you want to consume any RESTful service, it should be happening through HTTP only. What we do, so we'll give the method, whether you want which method you want to execute, and then the load as bytes or streams, and then there will be a URL. Okay, so the URL where your method is located. Okay, so for all RESTful consumption will be happening through only HTTP. So does anybody say like you have to work on REST as a consumer? Then you should be knowing how to use the HTTP service. And when you're exporting, so you should use that REST resource. So if you right click and create new, you will see this REST resource. Okay, and SMTP to send an email. For example, so most of the times this SMTP will be useful in the like time of like when you want to respond to some error. So you'll put it into your catch block. Whenever there is an error, then you'll send an email saying that what's the error and whom you have to send it. So you can add to list to whom you have to send the email, and if you want to add any CC, you can add it. And the subject for that mail, you can do that. And then what's the mail host? And from also you can set up. And then if you have like only body, you can send it to body. And if you have any MIME type, so which is like HTML or something, then you can send it as a MIME string. So the SOAP client will be used in the web service concept. See, all these web services, whatever we have consumed are like provided. So this will be happening through the SOAP client only. So your request and response will go and come from the SOAP client. And like all data related functions, you can see up here. So first, like whenever you know like the requirement, first you have to check the available services. For example, I see there is a get current date. I don't know what input I have to pass and what output I will to get. So just double click the service and go to input and output and check. Okay, I don't need to pass any input, but I'll get the date in the this variable. Let me check in which format I will get the date. Sorry. So I will get the date in this particular format, but I don't want this in format. So I have it there, like I want it in a separate format. Then there will be one more service called the get current date string. So if you go to this or like date time format, if you want to change any format, then you can go here or here also. So pattern, in which pattern you want, you can customize this. So here you don't have an option to verify, get current date, get current date. Here you don't have the option to give your own pattern, but here I can give my own pattern. So I want to give the pattern in the say DD MM small letters, sorry. sh mm. This is this is the different. Here it's a capital M, small m. Okay, so 12/09/2016 08/20/55. Now it's 21. If I run the service, it will show up as 21. So first, like you should be knowing like what are the available services. Then you can come and like use them based on your requirement. And the document. Till now we did not work on the documents. So this is important. See bytes document. If you have any data which is in the form of bytes, and if you want to convert into document, then you will use this byte service, bytes document. So you will pass the input document as a byte, and then you'll get the document as an output. So this will be helpful whenever you have the data which is in the form of, for example, like you are receiving something from the internet. So when you're receiving the data in the internet, it will be in the form of either byte or string. So that time this will be useful, this service. When you're receiving the data in the form of bytes, and if you want to convert to document, then you can convert as a document. And internally from document to byte also you can do. And then delete documents. So this is important. For example, okay, I'll just run the service. So I have like 10 documents. For example, say student data, 10 students. But I don't want fifth and sixth student. I want to delete fifth and sixth student, and I want to like get the data without fifth and sixth. So that time, if you want to delete any in between, then you will use this service, delete documents. So these you won't be able to check by running directly. Okay. So I'm passing employee data to a documents, and like if I pass 5 employees and I want to delete second and third. So second means my first index, third means second index. Because my index starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to, my second record will be 1, third record will be 2. So I want to remove second and third. I want to keep 1, 3, 5. Sorry, 1, 4, 5. So this document has to go again to employee. And then I don't want index to go to the next step. Documents also I don't require. Delete documents I want to. I'm able to delete emp docs. And I don't want this also. Control S, run flow service, add A1. Two, 3. Oops. 3, 4. 5. If I say OK, see final result, I have 1, 4, 5 only. So 2 and 3 were removed. And if you see, 2 and 3 are came to delete MP docs. 1 second, I have to connect to power. So in the web methods, like everything more like 80% of the time we'll be dealing with the documents only. Okay, so this document, and there will be one more folder called the list. Okay, document and list folders are the most important things. And document list to document. So if you have like 10 document list and you want to make it as a single document, then you will use this document. Document to byte. So this is reverse to this. When a receiving bytes document, you will use the service, and whenever one convert your document a byte, then you will use this service. And document to a document list. So if you are receiving a single document and you want to convert it to a list, then you will use the document to document list. Document to XML values. So this document XML values, we can use the same example here. So if you want to convert your document to a type of XML, you can use this service and I'll pass MP to a document. I'll get the XML values. So with 145, I will set in the XML. So your document will be converted to XML, and it will be only E and 1 it comes. Okay, document to XML, not documents. Okay, you can convert a single document to XML. By default, it will accept only one. So there will be one more folder for the XML values to document. Document to XML values. So 1 second, guys. Hello. Third line, Maheshwar. ఓకే అక్కడ ఒక ఆటో ఆగుంటుంది చూడు థర్డ్ బిల్డింగ్ దగ్గర లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ థర్డ్ బిల్డింగ్ 1 second, guys, I will come. Hello, sorry. So this one is for like single document XML values. So we have like in other place document list XML values. So there we can see that how to convert your list to a document. Okay, group documents. For example, you have like 10 documents and like you want to group by some key value pair. Okay, then you will use this, but you don't like most of the times, like till now I never used this service. Even I don't want to go with this. Insert a document is important. For example, if you have like 10 documents, okay, and you want to insert in between a single document to a document list, then you will use. So your input documents, existing documents, and which document you want to insert, and in which place index is starts from 0, and like wherever the place you want to add, you can use this. Okay, search documents. If you want to search any document within a document, if you want to search anything with the search criteria, you can give it. Okay, if you want to sort documents based on some element, then you can sort the documents also. And it is a reverse to the this service. So you have seen the document XML. This will be XML to a document. Okay, so event is not required. We'll go to the file. Okay, so if you have any byte data and you want to convert, you want to store this byte data to a file, then you will use this bytes to file. So this byte data directly will be inserted into a file. Okay, so if you want to check any file whether it's existing or not, then you can use this service. So what you have to do is you just have to pass the file name. So if you pass the file name, it will say whether that particular file is exist in the directory or not. And if that file name itself is a directory, then this directory will come as a true. Otherwise, it will be a false. If it is a file, then it will come as a directory, then it will come as a true. Okay. So if you want to copy file from one place to another place, you can do. And if you want to delete, and if you want to get a file data, then you can do that. So this is important service. In order to use this get file service, okay, for example, I told you that file access has to be added. See, so either it will say does not exist, it's fine. I want to read this file data. So I have taken the copy of file path and I'm giving it in the file name. Okay. Okay. So it's inside the dev tool tt dot, and I want to load it as a, like you have the option. If you want to load it as a byte, you can load it stream or string or reader. Whatever the way you want, you can do that. And like it's coming as a test file. Only the first time looks like it's asking for me to add a C drive. And if you get like the file access is not accessible, then you have to go to your WM public folder. There it is, the software AG, integration server, instances, default, packages, WM public, and then config. So this is the file access control. So if you get any error related to file access, then you have to add from which directory you want to access that file. Then you will add the directory here. Allow write paths. Write paths means like you want to write the data from integration server or designer, or you want to read the data into your designer, or you want to delete it. Then you have to access here. Give the access. Okay, and then list files. If you want to list files in a directory, then you will use this service. And you want to move a file from one location to the another location, you will do this. And reader to file or stream to file. If you have a type of reader, for example, when you are reading the data, get file, you have option to read it as a reader, stream, and byte. Okay, so you can, if you have the byte data, you can write it into file, and if you have the reader, you have write it to file. If you have the stream, you can read it, you can write it into file, and if you have the string also, you can write it a file. Okay, this folder is also important, a flow folder. So the services inside this flow, if you see the clear pipeline. Uh, what do you know about the clear pipeline? Hello, are you able to hear me? Hello. Okay, good. So Arna, just now I have seen your question. So this key value pair, even like I have not used the service, but we'll give it a try. But big issue. See, so actually, like in search criteria, you have to specify. So key value is nothing but like on which variable you want to you want to look and what value you want to look for. So I said like name should be A. So in my result document, I received one record with name as A and ID equal to 1. If I change this to B, let me change my search document key value to be B, then I will get the record with B. See, B and 2. Is this clear? And like most of the times, like someone number is hello. సీను నేను క్లాస్లో సారీ సీను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను నాకు 15 minutes టైం ఇవ్వ నేను కాల్ చేస్తాను ఓకే థ్యాంక్ యూ and then next will be flow. Can you tell me like where did we use this clear pipeline service? Pentil Reddy or Shiva? Arna won't be able to speak, I think. One of you can check. Did we use anywhere clear pipeline? Okay. So till now, what we have done is like in our flow, like we used to clear the pipeline. I mean, like the variable, like wherever you don't want. For example, if you see the same service, delete docs, right? Or some delete docs. Yes. Okay. Enable and then enable. If I go to my pipeline, so what I did here, okay, so I drop the variable like individually, so one by one. If I don't want all this variable to be added like one by one, and I want to remove everything, then I will use the clear pipeline, which will clear everything. And for example, say my pipeline has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elements, and out of 8, I need only the EMP. Remaining has to be deleted. So in that case, I will give it in the preserve. Only that. So this is a list type. You can add n number, but I want to add only the EMP. Only EMP document has to be exist in my pipeline. Remaining has to be clear. So by using this clear pipeline, what you say is like you will clear everything here in the pipeline. So the advantage of this clear pipeline is like, for example, this service is using any other service. So this will be child service, that will be parent. So the variables whatever declared inside your child service, they won't go to parent again. They will be clean up here. So that like your memory space will be less and there won't be any confusion. So sometimes like what we do is like some variable names, whatever you define here, in the parent flow also they will be using the same variable name. If you pass the variable from here to there, so the value whatever you have declared here, it will be overridden there. That will be a problem. So it will always a good practice to have the clear pipeline in your flow service. So till now what we have seen is we have seen the try catch block. There is okay. So we have seen try catch block only with the three. So good practice is to have one more sequence. So name it as a finally block. Okay. So name it as a finally block and add your clear pipeline. Okay. So to this clear pipeline service. So once you come up here, try catch, try block. So in the last map shop, you see whatever the available in your pipeline, and you can mention what you want to keep. Remainder all will be cleared automatically. And good practice is end of your service, only whatever you declared your input and output has to be there. Remaining all has to be dropped. So once I come in the last step of the service, or like once I come up here, I should not see anything else other than my input and output. Only my input and output has to be there in the last step of this service. Remaining all has to be dropped. Okay. So always a good practice is to have a finally block. Okay. And to finally block, add the clear pipeline. Okay. And debug log. So this debug log will be used for the auditing. Okay. So what do we do is like in the development time, we don't know like the input and output, and you want to store it somewhere. For example, so you have developed the one interface. Okay, the customer has to send the data to you. Customer sent the data, it failed, and you identify the problem. But again, you should not. I mean, like, so you should be knowing when the customer sent the data and what data he sent. In those cases, you will see like this will be like similar to like C out in the C language or system.out.println you will write for your reference in the Java. The same way debug log, whatever the message you want to see, that will be used in the WM public. So we have seen this service already in the previous classes, and input will be a message, function, and level. So this message, whatever the message you write, so it will be written into your logs, server log. You see your server log. That will be huge. See my server log, like I have only this is the recent one. So what I do is I'll write one message. So that message will be logged to my server. The message is server log and function no. So level should be info message. So information means like it's your information message. And if you want to write it as an error or like a warning, that also you can do it. Still refreshing. Or I can check here. Okay, test message to the server log. Here also it will come, but it's taking time. A test message to a server log. So if you want to write anything for your reference to a server log, then you will write into a debug log. You will use the service and you can write the pipeline variables also. Nothing will happen. What is doing? I'll go to previous service only. For example, I have done the search docs. So I received a value from the result documents. Correct? I want to write that log into, so whatever the data I received, I want to write into a server. So this is my result documents. So result documents, I will get the employee records with the, okay, first let me check what output I will get based on it. Because I'm clearing the pipeline. So this result doc also is going out. I have to keep this in your result. Because it's deleting the document. Okay, so result documents of 0 name is coming up. I want to write the name into a log. I will go. So my message will be, so whatever the value coming to a result of 0, I want to write. So whenever I want to put a value of the variable, then I have to do the perform pipeline variable substitution because I want to substitute this variable name with the value. That level will be info. Okay, Control S and go with it. we go here, load from disk. Okay, signing as result documents dash result documents of 0 name, which is not exist. Correct only. Substitution. Result documents. We'll try with this. Now it came as a B. Any doubts on this debug log? So the purpose of the debug log is like if you want to write any message to log for your reference. Okay, because like whatever the message you are writing it here, so it will be stored into your log and you can see anytime. Or like if you are receiving a purchase order from the customer, okay, so like you will write every time a purchase order number to your log, and like later customer asks like I have sent this particular PO number, so did you receive it or not? Then immediately you can come here and you can check whether you have received it or not. So the log will tell you when you have received it, and you can do like step by step also. So while receiving you can write one log, say so you have received the PO number, and then like you are processing it. Once you complete the processing, you said like it's completed the process, and then like inserting the record. Like that you can write like multiple debug logs, but it's not good to maintain so much of logs, because everything it will be writing into your log message, I mean like server.log, and the document size will be increased, and again it has to read the data from the server log, and your integration server performance will be low. So only